So, Mike McPherson, KP9P. I'm emergency coordinator for Albemarle, Charlottesville, UVA, and a member of the Albemarle Amateur Radio Club, and developed an interest in mesh networking like many people when I saw the article in CQ about the Austin folks and their experiments with the repurposing Linksys routers. And being an old computer guy, I've been in the computer business for 35 years now, and I can't live without my networks and my email and my web and all of the other paraphernalia. And when I became EC for Albemarle, I decided it was time that we do something about digital data networks for emergency communications and public service, and I started tinkering. And so everything I talk about today is going to be experimental. I have nothing deployed yet, but lots of ideas and some prototypes running, and I'll talk in a minute about what I believe is my first convenient site for radio and antenna. Why don't we start by going around the room and let's do some introductions. So everybody knows who everybody is. Let's start here.
I'm Anita. I do not have a call sign yet, and I'm in AARC.
Working on it.
Working on it here.
Mark, AK4OL.
Bill Pond, N0WP. I'm a member of both the Albemarle and the Creek County.
Can I ask everybody to kind of where you're from, you know, at least what county you're in, as you go on this?
So I'm in Green County, as I said, I'm a member of the Albemarle Amateur Radio Club, as well as the Blue Ridge Club.
Andrew Wiley, KK4SHO, member of the Albemarle Amateur Radio Club with Aries, and I'm in Albemarle County.
Rick Oliver, W3KAR, Albemarle Amateur Radio Club, Albemarle County.
Rich, K3BAT, I'm a visitor here. I'm a member of Shenandoah Valley Amateur Radio Club in Winchester. I'm visiting in Nelson County.
Just finish this side of the room, and then we'll move over.
All right, I'm Ed Berkowitz, N3US, Albemarle Amateur Radio Club. I'm a newcomer to the area, and I live in Early South, in Albemarle County.
I'm Gabe Elias. I'm the systems manager at the Emergency Communications Center, and just see what you guys are working on.
Okay. And we hope we'll turn Gabe into Amazon. I'm working on it.
I'm Larry Eicher, K4JZQ, member of the Albemarle Amateur Radio Club, and also a resident of this subdivision, actually, that has covenants, which is our nemesis. But
the hands are creative. We're getting around.
Yeah, thanks to KQ9P, but also Albemarle County.
Political speech there. I'm a City of Charlottesville, New York City.
K4ABS, John Underwood. I'm from, we're members of the Blue Ridge Wireless, which are part of the Aries network that was originally established out there, and Greene County, beautiful downtown Charlottesville. You're welcome if you come on through. And we have a great club. We have 11 members now in our new club that's been formed. And I'll turn it over to our president.
Jack Smith, Blue Ridge Wireless Association, Greene County, KE411.
And Susie Smith, KD5 Lafayette, member of Aries.
I'm Bob Sigrist. I'm with Kara, Culpeper Amateur Radio Club.
Mitch Dickey, K4MBSI. I've had it for less than a week. I'm in Madison and going to be a member of Kara.
I'm Owen Morgan, KK4URZ, member of Kara also.
Gary Favreau, Louisa County, Lake Anna, with the Kara, Culpeper Club, and RVARC in Fredericksburg Club.
Mike Lucier, AE4ML. I'm a member of the Culpeper Club as well as the Rappahannock Area Repeater Club in Fredericksburg.
Paul Mann, K4HOK. I'm with Stafford County Fire and Rescue and work with the emergency management team there.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody. So I'm going to kick off and talk about what I've been thinking about here in Albemarle. I apologize for the angle of the sun, but it's getting better, it's still worse, which is a good thing. Come on. Wrong here. The on switch would help. A disclaimer, I don't claim to be an expert on this. I have learned a lot in the last 6 or 8 months, but I know for a fact there are folks in this room who are running production networks, and so I'm not holding myself up as an expert. I'm hoping that we can draw into this enterprise a lot of folks who have deeper technical knowledge about wireless networks than I do and benefit from everybody's knowledge and experience. I'm going to talk about what I've discovered and my perspective on things from the Albemarle County, Central Virginia perspective. We've got a lot of time left over today. The only 2 committed presentations that are on the agenda are me and Bill, if he's still willing, to talk about packet work in Greene County. And then we'll have plenty of time if people feel called to talk about what you're doing. You can take the floor and talk, or we can just have an open discussion. So I want to start by saying that nothing I say here today should be construed as a criticism of what went before in the last 100 years. And it could be heard that way. I don't want it to be heard that way. The things that amateur radio operators have done for public service and emergency communications with nothing more than a key or their voice and a radio and a wire I could treat is not to be underestimated. And that said, I think it's time to move on. The reason I say this is that for most of the history of amateur radio, mine is a big Adam 12 fan. Extra points. What was his name? I can't remember the character's name. Anybody remember the character's name? Anyway, our served agencies, this is what they have for communications. They have a microphone and a radio. And we have a microphone and a radio. And a pad of paper and a pen to make notes on. This is more typical these days. A vehicle with computers, multiple radios, voice, data, video, the whole 9 yards. And what do we have? We've got a radio, a pad of paper, and a pen. We're pretty much where we were, and our served agencies have moved into the new generation. So I say it's time for us to move into the 21st century as well, and to build a public service communications network that can handle all of the traffic that's thrown at it. Whatever kind of traffic our served agencies have, we need to be able to deal with. If we don't do this, then our value as when all else fails is going to be diminished. It won't go away. I think there's still, I firmly believe there's a place for people with handheld radios and a pad of paper and a pen, because I have no illusions. The production networks fail, and if we build a wireless digital network, it too will fail someday. So I'm not arguing that we shut down all of the HTs and the voice traffic, but I do think that we need to be able to cope with the digital stuff.
Agreed.
Thank you. And I didn't make any of this up. I think a lot of people agree with this basic premise. We're not the only ones working on this, obviously. For me, there are some things about amateur radio and public service and emergency communications that we don't want to lose sight of. I think one is we don't want a network that is entirely centrally planned and centrally dictated and standardized on things like single vendors. We want diversity. One of the strengths of amateur radio is that we're all doing our own thing, and we adhere to standards so we can interoperate. But nobody's telling us what to do. I think that's important for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons we do it is because it's fun, and if we dictate the answer, if we tell everybody the answer, that takes a lot of the fun out of it. I want people to play with this stuff, to discover it, and when we need it for public service or emergency communications, to have the capability to understand what they're doing well enough.